Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Divine, and today we're going to be taking a look at things you should focus on in this upcoming open beta. Now, I do want to take a second and thank you guys tremendously for the 1K subs. It really does mean a lot to me, and I hope to see this channel continue all the way into 2022. Don't worry, guys, we're going to have lots of content all the way up until the end of the year and into next year, so it'll be awesome to see where we can go from here. Alright, so let's jump right into what this video is about, and that is the open beta, which goes live on September 9th and shuts down on September 12th. But remember, guys, you do have to request access on September 8th from the Steam page, which will give you access to the open beta. So don't forget to do that so that you can start playing immediately on September 9th. Alright, so now that we got that out of the way, let's go and talk about what we're going to be doing in the beta. And the first and foremost thing you should do in this upcoming beta is just have fun, guys. That's basically what you're doing in all these betas, is having fun. And if you find any bugs, make sure that you report them, guys. I've seen so many people say, oh, why is this all buggy? Why is this buggy? And then you ask them and people are like, well, I didn't report it. I figured other people did. It's not always the case. So make sure when you do find those bugs in the game that you are reporting those. And those two things should coincide. Having fun and squashing bugs, that's what beta and alpha is all about. So make sure you're doing that while you're playing. So after you got those bugs reported, the next thing you should check out is weapons. Now, this is going to be the perfect opportunity to understand how the weapons work and what kind of weapons you might want to utilize when the game actually comes out. So focus on what weapons interest you. And then fight some enemies with those weapons, or do some PvP or duels, anything like that, you know, to get a full good understanding of how these weapons work, because they are a little bit different than other games. So when you're leveling up your weapon, you're also unlocking abilities for those weapons. So you can play around with those, especially if you're a lower level, like under 20, you can constantly respec. You can respec your abilities on your weapons and test out everything. And this is just the perfect opportunity to do this. And then another thing to note is if you're going to be using ranged weapons, this is a great opportunity to find out where you're going to acquire that ammo. So are you going to be the person that goes to a trading post to get and just purchase the ammo from other players? Are you going to be someone that just requires ammo from other people that are crafting in your guild or your group of friends? Or are you going to be the one person that wants to go out and actually find all the material for yourself? So things like saltpeter early on can be a little bit difficult to find. So these are things that you need to keep in the back of your mind while you're playing through, to know when you actually launch the game for real during the tutorial or that tutorial area before the first town. You know, you can grab some materials prior to getting to that main town so that you can have that ammo for those ranged weapons. Alright, so another thing you should check out while you're checking out those weapons is understanding how the combat system works and also how armor plays into effect of all that. So things to note with the armor is the light armor, you're actually going to get a 20% damage bonus, and on top of that you're also going to get a quick roll, which allows you to disengage from enemies pretty well. And then when you step up to the medium tier armor, you're only going to get a 10% damage bonus, and then your quick roll now turns into only a quick hop. And then for the heavy armor users, you're going to not get any damage bonus, but instead get a 15% block stability. And then your disengage mechanic is now only a slow sidestep. So understand that armor does have a big thing to play with your damage and how you're going to evade enemies' attacks. And then while we're right on the topic of this, is while you're in these combat situations, kind of notice the patterns that the enemies use to fight you, because they become very apparent. And honestly, I hope these do get changed eventually, because they're very simple, especially early on. And you'll notice that these moves carry on to even the higher level enemies, but just practice disengaging or rolling or evading, you know, heavy attacks by the enemies, because they do glow and it kind of is like a dead giveaway. So practice this in the beta just so you kind of have an understanding of when the game launches. And then my next tip is going to be going to each of the beginning cities. Now, while you're doing this beta, you don't know what beginning city you're going to get when you create your character. Now, you could be someone that just travels to the city that you want to go to. You could be the person that's going to delete your account until you get the proper starting area that you want. But it's good to understand each of the cities and kind of see how they're laid out, see where they are, maybe go to a few vendors, do a few quests there, just to see how it feels. And if you like the area, perhaps, you're someone who likes to fish or harvest more of one ingredient over another, or you want to be someone that actually mines a lot of stuff, or you're more worried about combat placement. Maybe you want to go to places like Everfall so that once you're, high enough level, you have a short jaunt up north to go to the next level zone. It's all these little things that you want to check out in the city, and then to make sure that you do notice in these early cities all the goodies that the cities provide. So that's faction supply carts, whether or not there's a cow in the city, wells, honey. Just knowing where to look for these things is a great thing to do during the beta. And then while you're in the town, one of the things to check out is going to be the town boards. Now, I feel like these are going to be the most necessary way of leveling in the game, and understanding how the town boards work, especially if you haven't played the game already, is going to be huge. So understand like what kind of materials and what kind of things you're going to normally have to craft on these town boards. So that way, while you're out and about fighting enemies or doing quests, you can be gathering, harvesting different things to make and complete these town board missions while you're doing other quests out in the world. And then moving on is going to be understanding how to get around the world effectively and quickly, especially early on. So one of the big things that you guys can do is actually use the light armor technique. So you'll have that quick roll, and then while you're rolling, you can actually switch your weapons mid-roll, and it'll actually cancel the exit animation of that roll and allow you to keep running. So things like that are very, very effective, especially when fighting players, fighting monsters, or just wanting to get somewhere a little bit quicker. And then the next one is going to be getting to where you can actually place a campsite down so that you can put it outside an area you want to go to, and then possibly do some quests, and then utilizing the respawn in the top right when you hit escape, and it'll actually let you choose either the nearest city or your campsite. So you can utilize these very effectively. And then kind of during the beta, you can see where and might be the best placement for these campsites so that you can kind of abuse the system. I really hope they take out this respawn system, but there's a chance that it might stay when the game comes out. So you might as well use the tools that are given to you and especially understand how they work a little bit better. And the last tip that I'm going to say for this is going to be for you guys that are going to try to min-max this game initially when it launches. And that is going to be, coming up with a great game plan of how you're going to level early on levels. And that's probably the most you can focus on this beta because it's not a long beta. So maybe levels 1 through 30, how are you going to do that? How are you going to get your resources that you need? Understanding how the main quest works, because there are areas where you can continue the main quest, but then you have to wait until you're a certain level to continue. And then also probably a great thing to do during this beta, if you guys are focused on hardcore playing, is understanding the first dungeon as well. What kind of things do you need for the dungeon, and how can you complete the dungeon? How did the dungeon mechanics work? Things like that are a great way to utilize the beta. Honestly, it's not for everybody, so don't feel obligated to do this. It's just what a lot of people are probably going to do, unfortunately. Some people are not going to just, enjoy the beta for the fun of it. They're going to be putting together a comprehensive game plan of how they're going to play this game minute by minute, hour by hour. The one thing I do hope you guys take away from this beta is just to have fun with it, and hopefully be a little bit more inclined, if you haven't already, to purchase this game and be excited when it launches at the end of the month. Alright, so that's all I have for you guys today. So if you like this video, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe down below, and I will see you guys in the next one.